Wow. Isn't that pretty beautiful? Are you looking at what I'm looking at? What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another YAP session. Beautiful morning here in Ottawa, actually. If you can see, it's kind of like one of those mornings where it's like cloudy, foggy, rainy. Moody is the correct word. I remember when I used to do a lot of Instagram, they'd always use the word moody. Moody grams, you know, if you know, you know. Anyway, welcome back to another YAP session. If you don't know what these videos are, pretty much they are long-form podcast-style videos where we yap about a certain topic. Obviously, you already know what the topic is because it's on the title and the thumbnail, unless you just clicked on this video because you didn't see this title and thumbnail, which I guess thank you if you did. But nonetheless, today, level 60, that's the discussion. And it's not just a random reason we're talking about level 60 today, because there's actually technically level at least like 50 plus has been implemented to the game. Now, was it a glitch? Was it not a glitch? We're not 100% sure. At the time of recording this video, I might know, and I might put in the pinned comments that it was a glitch or it wasn't a glitch, but nonetheless, we're gonna get into it. First of all, timestamps below if you wanna skip to any section in this video and see what we're talking about. I'm gonna first give you a little yap about what I've been up to, what has Pokédaxy been up to. Nonetheless, had a nice weekend. Had a nice weekend getaway. Feel like I needed a weekend getaway. I went to the cottage alone, which was really nice. I went swimming, which was really cold. Cold plunging is always an interesting thing. I don't know if you guys have ever done them, but like swimming in really cold water, whether it's like an ice bath or you just go into like a lake when it's cold. It's November here in Ottawa. The degrees right now, I think it's like 3 degrees when I checked before I came out. By the way, we're wearing the New Zealand sweater again because it is cold. Granted, the thing I find about wool sweaters, random side tangent, is they have like, I don't know if you can see, but like holes in them. So they're not the best windbreakers. They're good at keeping you warm as like an underlayer, but like in terms of cutting the wind, not the greatest. So that's kind of unfortunate. Nonetheless, went cold plunging this weekend at the cottage twice. Really cold, survived for 30 seconds in there. However, how good you feel after is insane. I don't really know the science behind the cold plunge. Someone probably knows in the comment section below, but I'll tell you, it is worth the pain. And the key, by the way, is to get in as quick as possible and control your breathing. The longer I took to get in, always the worse it would be. But once you're in, your body kind of gets used to it in like 10 seconds-ish. Like obviously you can only get so used to freezing cold water, but anyway, did a nice cold plunge, got away. And the main reason I got away is because I wanted to plan out a secondary channel. This is something I've been talking about for a long, long time. And some people here on the channel as well have been asking like, Pokédaxy, are you gonna do something different other than Pokemon Go? Don't get scared. I'm not going to completely stop Pokemon Go videos. We're going to keep doing them, keep doing the YAP sessions. I still have a lot of fun with it, especially the wild event area coming up this weekend. It should be an absolute blast. I'm actually really, really excited. I think I talked about my motivation has been coming back for Pokemon Go. And I'm kind of excited for the wild area event, especially the new Mighty Pokemon. So much fun stuff going on. I'll have a tips video coming out about everything, by the way, if you're curious what's going on in the wild area event, the best tips, things to follow. That video, of course, is going to be coming out. But nonetheless, wild area seems like an absolute blast. Obviously, we have the December seasons coming up, which Pokemon Go kind of sucks here in Ottawa for December because it's so cold and snowy, you can't play outside. You can still car grind. It's not as fun to car grind, though, I find. And it's kind of tough to make videos as well because like you're hanging out in close proximity with people. I don't want to be shoving my camera in their face. But we do have some fun videos coming up. Actually, something that has been, let me turn this brightness up. Actually, something that's been requested from you guys for a little bit has been 24-hour daily adventure instance challenge, which, like, I'm not that excited for it, but we're doing a 24-hour daily adventure instance challenge the day after the wild area event, the Monday, mainly because there's certain people in town for the wild area event that we want to make sure we get them in the video. So that's why we're doing it, but we're doing 24-hour daily adventure instance. Granted, we're gonna have like 4 to 6 people joining us, so should be more people in the 24-hour challenge, which will hopefully help me stay awake. But I'm not gonna lie, those videos are always really exhausting for me to record. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Hopefully we get a bunch of shiny Galarian birds. But yeah, 24-hour daily adventure instance nonstop is coming. We'll probably have like 2 or 3 videos from that whole excursion coming, and those will be dropping in sometime in December probably. Anyway, maybe a Christmas special. Nonetheless, don't know what to talk about. Wild area event, I'm excited. A bunch of exciting things to talk about. But back to the second thing, I am starting a secondary channel. Hopefully, I came up with 3 ideas. First of all, if you don't know, I've actually been looking at potentially going to culinary school, cooking school. I've always been passionate about cooking. My mom is French. She's always cooked for me. So it's kind of something I've been kind of trying to dabble in. So I don't know if I'd want to start a channel, maybe go to cooking school part-time at the same time while still doing the channel. Not 100% sure where I'm at with that. That was the first idea. The second idea, I've always been intrigued with gardening. So I might start potentially like go to a community garden and do like YAP sessions like this while I'm gardening. I don't know, that's the verge of the idea. And then I think the third idea was something along the lines of just trying new things in a channel. So I don't know, things I don't know how to do. Like I've never actually changed a car tire. So I think it would be really fun for me to make a video of me trying to figure out how to change my car tire. Anyway, so those are 3 ideas. Let me know if there's any you'd be interested in. Nonetheless, if I do start the channel, I probably wouldn't advertise it to you guys, maybe after a little bit, but the whole point is you always want to, any tips for anyone starting a new YouTube channel, you want your audience to be niche towards the content you're making. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but just the way it is people watching these videos, you guys are here for Pokemon Go. Most of you guys are probably not even watching this because you don't care about my life and you want to know about level 60 and the actual topic of the app session. But if you are watching this, you might care more about my life. So that's like different. But nonetheless, people who watch this channel care about Pokemon Go, so they're not going to be interested in another secondary channel about whatever I'm doing. So I'd want to kind of start like a whole new audience there with people who are more focused on or enjoy that type of content or into that. But anyway, that's kind of the YAP update. That's what I did this weekend. I kind of had some game planning. I'm going to try to get that channel up and running hopefully soon. Probably not this week because the wild area is crazy. And next week we have the 24-hour challenge for the first half of the week and then recovery of that. But it'll be up soon. Anyway, today we're talking about level 60. I'm excited to talk about it. I have a lot of thoughts on it. And I'm actually really excited for what happened this weekend in Pokemon Go because it does make me excited for Pokemon Go. One thing I just quickly want to say, I'm not trying to be a Niantic bootlicker and lick Niantic's boots all the time because people think I'm a Niantic bootlicker. I always say, I'm gonna say it how it is. I've had plenty of negative thoughts about Niantic and I voice them in these YAP sessions. But nonetheless, I have my opinion. I know what I stand for. But what I will say is credit where credit is due. Niantic has been, I will say, for the past year, maybe 6 months, Niantic has been pumping out content and new features. Mighty Pokemon, which are super, super cool. Gigantamax and Dynamax, super, super cool. What else has been new? Maybe that's all. But nonetheless, there's been a lot of quality of life updates being changed. You know, the berry tray just got changed, so it's like bigger, or the Pokeball tray is bigger. Nonetheless, credit where credit is due. They have been putting in the work. They have been adding new features. Now, there's obviously the criticism of like Niantic saying, this is already 7 minutes, 7-minute intro, whatever. There has been criticism of people saying that they're investing their resources into the wrong thing and they should be investing resources into fixing bugs and things like that. But Niantic has been putting in the effort. They have been adding a lot of new things, which is always great. And hopefully we continue to see it because at the end of the day, I think a game that's healthy is a game that's always updating and changing. And Pokemon Go is always updating and changing. We have Mighty Pokemon dropping, maybe level 60 drop. Like, you know, there's a lot of things to be excited about in Pokemon Go right now. Anyway, let me go find a cool spot to sit. Maybe not sit, it's actually rainy today. I'll probably be standing. But anyway, let's go find a spot and let's talk about level 60. Woo! Okay, wait. Do you guys see? Okay, I'm dark, but do you see this building right here? This building right here. This is the Claridge building in Ottawa. And if you don't know, that building right there, it obviously doesn't look that big from here, but that's what I bungee jumped off of. That's how high it was when I bungee jumped. 134 meters. It's like if I jumped off that building with a like rope attached to me, like absolutely insane. My face is blown out. Nonetheless, let's talk about level 60. Now, we got to pull up Twitter. Actually, someone told me something. Is Twitter shutting down or something? Or is Twitter getting canceled? I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but someone was like, yo, like, are you switching or I'm switching off Twitter. I think it was actually, what's going on? I think it was PV Poke. PV Poke said he's leaving Twitter. In the new year, I plan to leave Twitter, won't be continuing social media anywhere else. Oh, maybe he's just quitting social media. Maybe that's what it is. You can find direct updates. Anyway, huge shout out to PV Poke, by the way. PV Poke has been literally without PV Poke, there would be no PvP meta, pretty much. But nonetheless, I think it was Pogo Central that kind of made the tweets or retweeted the tweets. But pretty much, this all stems from, this, okay? So, a perfect IV Snorlax maxes out at level 50, comes out to 3,647 CP. So that is going to be the perfect IV for a Snorlax. If it was a Hundo, maxed out level 50. Like, you can't get a higher CP. Technically, if you're level 51, you could have a higher one. But players at Fukuoka, I think I've hopefully been saying that right, the Wild Air event in Japan, are experiencing level 52 and 54 Snorlaxes. So doing some math, you can kind of figure out if you were able to power up a Pokemon like past level 50, what CP would it be at? And they calculated that, look at these Snorlaxes. Look at this. A 3,790 CP Snorlax and a 3,690 CP Snorlax. Oh my God. The sun doesn't know what it wants to do right now. Anyway, yeah, so like these things are absolute beasts. They are above level 50. As you can see, the bar is full. Also, by the way, let's quickly talk about mighty Pokemon. If you don't know mighty Pokemon, I'll talk about it in my tips video, but mighty Pokemon in Pokemon Go have an IV floor of 13, 13, 13, which I believe is a 1 in 27 odds of being a hundo. And they're caught between, I believe it's like level 45 and 50. So when you catch it, it's like 10, minimum 10 or maximum 10 power-ups away from being a max level Pokemon. Isn't that absolutely insane? Mighty Pokemon are going to be available globally, by the way, during the Wild Area event. I think whether you have a ticket or not, you get access to Mighty Pokemon. They're really, really hard to catch. They run. They have increased shiny odds, though, increased chance of being extra, extra large. Overall, Mighty Pokemon, a feature I absolutely love. Also, again, let's just say, amazing event for new players. If you're a new player, you come to Pokemon Go, you catch a Mighty Pokemon, bang, you already have a level 45 Snorlax. Like, that's amazing. My face is about to be blown out again. Anyway, so okay, look. Are they testing beyond level 50 Pokemon? Poke Central says level 60 confirmed. You know, I don't want to, we can't always just say confirmed. It could very much be a glitch. Now, it was not really confirmed whether it was a glitch or not. So I made a tweet here and I said, yo, so are these a thing or is it a glitch? G471X, the main man, commented, so far, Snorlax, only Snorlax's level 50 plus was reported a few times, probably a bug because it was on the raids, task snapshots, and in the wild. So he thinks because it was Snorlax, you could get Snorlax from so many different like things, like there was some bug code where it ended up being a glitch. Someone said there's a Hundo Mighty XXLR Ampharos caught by Fleece King who knows, maybe it's a real thing. That wasn't past level 50 yet. No, okay, no, that wasn't past level 50. Said it was level 50. Yeah, okay, sorry, this is confusing. Anyway, we're talking about level 50 plus. We're talking about Pokemon above level 50, which right now it seems like only Snorlax is the thing. Now, this could very, very much be a bug, but nonetheless, whether it's a bug or not, we can talk about level 60 and if we think it's coming to Pokemon Go. And I have a couple thoughts. The first thing about level 60 is obviously introduces an issue that I think everybody is kind of aware of, and that's going to be the level of Pokemon. Now, if you don't know, when Pokemon Go first happened, the highest level you could have a Pokemon at is level 40. And if you don't know, powering up Pokemon, every time you power it up, it's half a level. So you can technically power up a Pokemon, I think it's like 80 times to level 40. And then when level 50 dropped, Niantic dropped XL candies, which are special candies that you can take a Pokemon from level 40 to level 50. Now, you need a lot of XL candies to get from level 40 to 50, but pretty much, again, it was the same half-level thing. So to take a Pokemon from level 1 to level 50, you had to power it up 100 times. So theoretically, people are like, is level 100 in Pokemon Go? Theoretically, you could power up a Pokemon 100 times, so technically it is in-game, but again, you're only powering up a half a level. So we have level 50 in Pokemon Go already. If we were to drop level 60 as a trainer level, like, hey, you could reach level 60 as a trainer, we'll talk about like the XP and stuff to reach a level in a bit. But anyway, this would mean that most likely Niantic is not going to leave the level cap of Pokemon from level 50 to 60. Now, it is possible that we could end up getting level 60 in Pokemon Go. My eyes are closed because the sun is blaring into my eyes. It could be possible that we get level 60 in Pokemon Go and not get level 60 Pokemon. But if it does happen, let me explain a few problems. Number one problem, this was a problem as well when level 60 came, or 50 came. Sorry, I'm mixing up the levels. You could power a Pokemon to higher CP caps, which means the Great League and the Ultra League, the metas completely changed. First of all, the Great League had a bunch of new Pokemon being way more meta relevant. First of all, things like Sableye, Medicham, which before, at level 40, struggled to reach a 1500 CP cap. However, when level 50 came into play, you could very easily hit a level 50 CP cap, and you could even get higher PvP IVs, low attack, high defense, high stamina, to make that Pokemon even bulkier. So the Great League meta completely changed when level 50 came because a bunch of new Pokemon were coming into the game, and other Pokemon were kind of falling off because they were being, like, they just weren't as good or as bulky as some of these new Pokemon. Now, a prime example is a Pokemon like Pachirisu. Let me show you right now. Pachirisu is a Pokemon. Now, granted, Pachirisu's moveset kind of sucks, but nonetheless, Pachirisu. I have a Pachirisu at level 50. It's a hundo. Got it during the tour from in the research. Got it in the special research during the Sinnoh tour. Anyway, as you can see, 1372 CP. This is a maxed out. I can't take this thing any higher. It's even best. If I best buddy, it's maybe at 1400. So obviously in the Great League, it's pretty decent, I think, in the Electric Cup and a couple different cups because it's so bulky. But if level 60 came and I could power this up even more, it could get even closer to the CP cap, and this would make Pachirisu a lot better in the Great League. So overall, the meta would completely change. And I think the main thing we can actually even look at is actually the Ultra League meta. That's the one that even changed the most, because there were certain Pokemon that couldn't even compete in the Ultra League. Things like Umbreon, because their CP cap was like, look, let's look at this Umbreon. If I power this up to level 40, you see its CP at level 40 would be like 2,000. But a level 50 Umbreon is 2,416, making it a lot closer. And if level 60 came, Umbreon would be even better in the Ultra League because it would be able to get lower attack, high defense, high stamina, and be even bulkier. So overall, the problem with level 60 is the metas would change. Now, the biggest problem, in my opinion, is actually going to be the Master League meta, and that's because Master League Pokemon are already hard to get. XL candies are already hard to get for legendary Pokemon. So if you had to get even more candies, which we'll talk about like the requirements and stuff, but if you had to get even more candies to power up some of these Pokemon, like it would just be like so inaccessible. Like imagine you had to have 3 level 60 Pokemon to run in the Master. Like Master League's already inaccessible, level 60 would make it even more inaccessible. The reason I say this is because of the level up requirements. If we do drop level 60, let's take a look here. If I power up this Roselia all the way level 50, 519,000 Stardust, 300 candies, 296 XL candies. That's a lot of resources just for level 50. Think about level 60. If we follow like a scaling that usually happens, or like, let's just say like they don't even scale it. They just make it so like, you know, divide it by 2 and then add that. So it would be about 750 Stardust for level 50. It'd be about 450 candies. Actually, maybe the candies won't get changed, but XL candies, 450 XL candies. Or no, it'd be double. It'd be double that. It'd be 600 XL candies. Like, overall, that's a lot of resources. And if we're looking at legendary Pokemon specifically, that is really, really hard to ask for even someone who pays to play Pokemon Go to be able to power up a Pokemon that much. Who knows? Maybe they'll even make it like 1,000,000 Stardust. Now, granted, I do like the challenge and I do like having Pokemon that are super rare and hard to get. Like if it was 1,000,000 Stardust to get a Pokemon level 60, I wouldn't be the maddest personally because I grind hard. But I could see like a free-to-play player, 1,000,000 Stardust. That's like, some people have only ever gotten 1,000,000 Stardust in Pokemon Go. Like players who have been playing for a couple months or don't know the top strategies or play the top events, like our casual player is never gonna get close to that. And granted, there is like a beauty in that, in which it's like, oh, only available for people who really know the strategies and stuff. And if you're like, you have to be a high class player, that's like end game content pretty much. Like there is a value in having that end game content, but the problem is I think mainly, I always just look at it in the Master League. The Master League is gonna be the biggest issue because when the Master League rotation comes around and Master League is like one of the only leagues you can play, like people are just going to be getting absolutely cooked in there. And I don't really think it's healthy for a game to have a league that's only available to like the top percent of players, because I think that's when that's when it becomes a bit pay to win, because there's just less competition probably in the Master League because only people who spend money are there. So it's like potentially easier to win, or it's like easier to win if you have better Pokemon. Like that's the thing about the Master League is like, especially in the lower leagues, when people run the Master League, like sometimes if you just have a level 50 Pokemon in the Master League, you just have a huge advantage, because people who are going in there with level 40 Pokemon trying their best just won't can't really compete, I guess. So like, anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on in terms of resources for level 50. I do think that could be a huge issue. And something that someone brought up, because I did make a post about this on my Instagram, is like, if they did drop level 50, I'm not going to get too into this, or level 60, would they drop like a new type of candy? You know, people have been saying XL candies. We have candies, XL candies. Would there be like an extra large candy, like a higher level of a candy? You know, would it just be like you need more XL candies to get them? Or would there be like a whole new candy? I'm personally more of a fan of just keeping 2 types of candies. I think the more candies you add, the more complicated it gets, the more confusing it gets for new players. But I do think keeping it as XLs would be better. I do think though, if they do drop XL candies, I think Niantic would need to mix, or if they do drop it and to power up to level 60, you need XL candies. I do think it would be better if Niantic added more ways to get XL candies. I do think candies and XLs are pretty available right now in Pokemon Go. You know, you get 3 for catching a legendary. You can boost them with, there's plenty of like bonuses we get in the wild in events where like higher chance of getting XLs, or like when you trade away Pokemon, you're guaranteed an XL. I do think Niantic could make a couple changes. First of all, maybe they can make like trading away Pokemon for an XL a permanent feature, so it's always there and available. I also do think maybe like every Pokemon you catch, you're guaranteed at least 1 XL candy instead of like you could get 0, you know, like some sort of like base minimum. Overall, I would just prefer that. Anyway, people have been saying, do they want to see an extra new type of candy? Personally, I don't, but you never know. Anyway, so that's the thing. That's the number one problem I'm going to say with Pokemon. However, I don't think it's all bad. I do think there's plenty of opportunities for level 60 and different cool things that come with level 60. I'm going to go find a new spot to sit. I feel like I'm talking like Alvin and the Chipmunks right now because I'm talking so fast, so I need to slow down. I'm going to go find a new spot to sit, and let's talk about rewards and what it would take to reach level 60. Because I do think they could implement some really, really cool end game content. And that's the thing about level 60 is I feel like it's all about the end game content. Pokemon Go is a game that like, it kind of has end game content, but it doesn't really. Like Gigantamax, I think, is a great feature that is kind of end game content. Like, you know, you get a bunch of strong Pokemon, and now these are like the strongest things to take down, and you can really take advantage of your Pokemon, I guess. And I do think Niantic kind of is missing out on the end game content. I do think that also is an issue that Pokemon Go has. Is like people always say like, oh, I can't take advantage of this feature because I have no players in my area. That's obviously a huge issue, but also I think it's actually a good thing Gigantamax sometimes is so hard because I feel like raids have gotten pretty easy. Even if you're in a rural area, most raid bosses nowadays can be taken down with 2 people. If you have a Mega and like a top tier, you have a Mega Pokemon, like even Megas, you can even solo, like Rayquaza, I don't know if Mega Rayquaza, but Rayquaza can be soloed. It can be taken down by yourself if you have Mamoswines. I think you might need Shadows, but 5 Mamoswines, you power them up, you get them running. Swinub's had a calm day. You know, Swinub's had a calm day. The Stardust is the biggest issue for rural players, but even if you're a rural player, getting Swinub candies this Christmas season, they're going to be everywhere. You know, Shadow Swinub available. You wait for a Team Rocket event, you TM them, you get a couple Shadow Mamoswines. You can take down Rayquaza by yourself. Anyway, I do think Niantic, I do think endgame content does have a place in Pokemon Go, and I do think level 60 could be that place. Okay, look, this is actually something pretty fun. I finished my masterwork research. So I'm going to get a Master Ball, which is always an interesting thing. I think this is our 3rd or 4th Master Ball. We've had obviously a lot of Master Balls in Pokemon Go, but I'll take it. Master Ball. The funny thing about Master Ball is like, it's obviously useful, but actually the new Safari Balls actually make it a lot easier to catch Pokemon, which hopefully we see in future events, but nonetheless, Galarian birds are actually going to be really easy to catch on Safari Balls during the upcoming event. So using your daily venture instance during the Go Wild area, pretty good idea. Actually a pretty good idea. Make sure you get those Dialga candies this week. Oh, my item bag is full. That's annoying. Anyway, done that. Okay, let's talk about level 60, and let's talk about specifically what would we get from level 60? What would be some of the features or things that we could get into Pokemon Go as rewards? Now, level 60, first of all, to get to it, clearly it's going to be tough. I've talked about this in a past video. I made a video about hitting level 100, but we'll probably get some pretty insane tasks to hit level 60. Now, obviously, XP is going to be a big one. Will they double the amount of XP? Right now, it's 176 million to go from level 1 to level 50. Will they make it 300 and whatever million, whatever the double number of that is, to get to level 60? Maybe. Will they just add like an increment amount, like divide that number by 6 or 5 and then add that? You know, like, we'll have to wait and see. Some people even say like it's going to be 1 billion XP to hit level 60. I don't know if they do that. That's kind of insane. There's actually a decent amount of players in the world who do have 1 billion XP. But getting 1 billion XP, that's like a 5-year nonstop grind project. Maybe like 3. I don't know. XP is pretty available nowadays. If I had to hit 1 billion XP, it would take me a decent amount of time. Anyway, nonetheless, XP is obviously going to be a huge thing. It's kind of hard to predict how much XP, but what we can predict is the tasks. First thing I'm going to say, platinum medals right now are a thing in Pokemon Go, but people have been dropping ideas. Will they make a higher tier of platinum, like diamond medal, like what is it? Silver, gold, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, which are just making all the medals we have in Pokemon Go right now, but just like way harder. And then level 60, one of the tasks could be to be like, get like 30 diamond medals or something like that. Now, I think that's just a good feature they could add anyway, because again, going back to endgame content, having these insane medals to go ahead and complete is always a nice little challenge. Like, let's say like you have to catch, I don't know, 500,000 Pokemon in your lifetime to complete the diamond medal of catching Pokemon, you know, or like the jogger medal. Like, I think right now it's like walk 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers. Maybe it's like walk 5,000 kilometers on your whole account. It's always like a nice little challenge and a nice little flex for people to do as well. Like, people are like, oh, like medals are always a good way to flex. Like, people are like, oh my God, how many Pokemon have you caught? And you can show them your medal for proof. I think medals are a little bit of an underrated, underused feature in Pokemon Go. So nonetheless, that would be really cool. They could obviously also have different sorts of challenges to hit level 60. I think obviously level 60 would be like the peak top of the top trainer. So would making challenges like, I don't know, catch 500 Pokemon in a day or catch a Shundo, things like that in Pokemon Go as a challenge to complete to go ahead and hit level 60 could be great. Also, like, hit Legend. You know, that's always been a thing, is like a level 50 trainer. I think you have to do some PvP for some of them, but you can kind of just like skip through it. I think you just have to hit like rank 10, which is like, you just do a couple battles and you get it. But like, would it be like, hey, to hit level 60, you actually need to prove yourself as a trainer and hit the legend rank. So you actually need to learn PvP and get into it. You know, it's an interesting question because like Pokemon Go is one of those games where like people pick and choose what they want to play. Like, oh, are you into PvP, raids, blah, blah, blah. But like, if you want to hit level 60, is it like you need to have mastered every single thing in Pokemon Go? I think that would be fair. Again, it's end game content, and I think there is a beauty in that, and almost like, hey, if you want to reach this highest level, you have to get good at this thing. You know, you got to be a master of all. If you want to become a master, the best, you have to be good at everything. Isn't that what Ash was? Ash was good at everything. He had like, I don't know, he went on so many adventures. He probably got, you know, he was good at like fashion shows, because that's the thing in Pokemon, right? Like there's a fashion show competition. I don't know if there's an episode where Ash goes to a fashion show. I'm sure there is though. Anyway, I'm just saying hard challenges I think would be good. But for completing these hard challenges, I think there should be some really, really good rewards. And there's been two I've been talking about for the longest time. Number one, a free incubator. We have one right now. For the love of God, if Niantic does not give us a free incubator for doing all these hard things and hitting level 60, if it does come, another free incubator, so you have two. I think that would be an amazing little feature Niantic could go ahead and add. I don't see it being that big of a negative thing, and after working so hard, most likely to hit level 60, I think it would be a fair reward to get another free incubator. You know, like having 2 free eggs incubating. And also, I'm just going to say this right now, like people who hit level 60, if you hit level 60 when it does drop as a free-to-play player, like that's a pretty big prop, pretty big like clap to you, because like even hitting level 50 as a free-to-play player is like a huge challenge. I think like one of the tasks is like, one of the pages like hatch 50 eggs, right? That's like insane amount of eggs for a free-to-play player to hatch. Or like 50 raids, I think that's one of the tasks. So like doing all that as free-to-play, you definitely have some patience and some time commitment. But nonetheless, I think a free incubator would be great. Number 2, Shiny Charm. This has been something we've been hoping in Pokemon Go for the longest time. Now, some people say like a Shiny Charm would be like a pay-to-win thing. I don't really know if it's pay-to-win. The thing is, again, going back to it, like if you hit level 60, are you paying to win to get to level 60? Like, how much are you paying to get there? I think as long as level 60 is available to get there for completely free, I think it's completely fine. But nonetheless, I think adding a Shiny Charm would be nice. Now, I'm not saying a Shiny Charm. Regular Shiny odds in Pokemon Go are like 1 in 500 for wild spawns. I don't think they should go from like 1 in 500 to like 1 in 250 with a Shiny Charm. I think like dropping it from like 1 in 500 to 1 in 400 or 1 in 450, completely fair, completely good. It wouldn't make it a broken item, but I think it would be nice to get like a Shiny Charm, because that would really allow for like some good end game shiny hunting. Or like, hey, you really want to get to level 60 quick so you can start catching all the shinies that you might not have. Anyway, there's also the question of like, would that make it unfair? You know, all accounts should be even in terms of the shiny rates and stuff like that. But also, I don't know. I feel like there should be an option. If someone wants to put in the effort and the crazy effort to hit the level 60, they should get something reward. Would a Shiny Charm be too broken? I don't know. I think it's a cool idea though. And I wouldn't be mad. Like even if I wasn't level 650 or level 60 and people had a Shiny Charm or getting more shinies than me, I wouldn't complain, because I'd be like, I know what you did to get that item and to get those boosted odds. Anyway, finally, 2 things. A pose. Obviously, people want to see a pose. If you have a level 60, would love to see some sort of insane pose in Pokemon Go. I don't know really what they could do. Like, I don't know if Ash Ketchum has any, like, signature poses he does, or, like, Red. I know he's a very famous trainer in Pokemon. So anyway, it would be cool to see a final pose. And then also, mythical. This is an idea that actually came up on the Instagram today. I made a post, but someone was saying, like, would be nice if you got a free Mew for hitting level 60, or some sort of free mythical. And I think that would be kind of a cool idea. Mythical Pokemon, obviously you only get one of them, or like some you can get 2 if you pay the ticket and you get the shiny version, but like they're very exclusive, they're very limited. I think it would be cool if when you hit level 60, there's like a roulette that you get one encounter, but you get a roulette encounter with a potential mythical Pokemon, whether that's like Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, Zygarde, things that have been very exclusive in Pokemon Go, you get a potential one. Maybe they can even be shiny, potentially. I think that would be a fun little challenge, a fun little like end game thing, like, hey, did you get your exclusive Mew? That would make that Pokemon also very, very special, because you catch it, you know it's rare, and then you know you worked really hard for it. So again, I'm always down for cool, rare Pokemon coming available for people who work hard. And again, level 60 I think is completely cool, and I think it would be cool if there's like a roulette at the end of the game where you get like a potential encounter with a mythical Pokemon. Nonetheless, those are some rewards I think should come for level 60. And I do fully believe in like these permanent rewards coming, because again, based on how hard it probably will be to hit level 60, I think people deserve a reward. But now the question is, when do you think, when is it coming? When is it coming, Dax? Now obviously, I talked about it, this Snorlax situation could very much be a glitch. I don't know what Niantic is going to do. Are they going to take away the trainers that got these super high CP Snorlaxes and not let them use them? Who knows? So the Snorlax thing could be a glitch. But whether it is or not, if level 60 does come, when would it come? And I do have some thoughts on this. I'm going to go and we're going to talk about it somewhere else. Okay. I've decided this is our spot under this. This is like one of the last fall trees as the fall leaves are falling. Anyway, level 60, when will it come? Now, people have told me they think if level 60 does come to Pokemon Go, it would drop during a Go Fest or a Unova tour or some sort of big event. Now, personally, I'm not a believer in that. I don't think that's how Niantic rolls. I don't think that would be a smart idea either, and let me explain why. Go Fest, tour events, wild area, if you've ever played one, you know how overwhelming these events are. There's so much to do. Raids, wild spawns. The whole last YAP session was literally about this topic as a whole. So would dropping a whole new 10 levels also be a good idea to go ahead and drop during an event like this? Now, granted, it would be a great time to most likely work on all the level up tasks we're probably going to get for level 60, because there's so much to do and so much available in raids. Like if one of the tasks is like do 50 raids, like you could very much do that in a day during a Go Fest. But I think it would just be too much. I think it would be overwhelming. I also think it would dilute one of the two. Niantic, you've seen them very often in the past, but like they don't ever like go too crazy on events. Like you've never seen like Mewtwo and Rayquaza in raids at the same time or like back-to-back weeks, because it kind of dilutes one of the two. And like what you'll notice is Niantic will always drop like one fun raid boss along with a couple trash ones to make that fun one seem way more exciting. There's probably like a name for this, but like the law of like spotlighting one thing by putting trash things around it. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, this thing is so good. Like if you put Mewtwo beside Rayquaza, they're both super strong and they both seem really cool. But like if you put Mewtwo beside like Tapu Koko, people are way more hyped for Mewtwo, and it makes Mewtwo, like, people are like, oh, I'm really going to focus on Mewtwo and spend way more money. But, like, if Rayquaza and Mewtwo are in raids at the same time, like, it's harder to spend as much money on both. I don't know, like, I hope you understand what I'm saying. But anyway, I don't think it would be a good idea because exactly that reason. If they have Go Fest and level 60 at the same time, like, there's just too much going on. It's just, Niantic, like, first of all, they'd probably not make as much money as they would hope to off both of these things, but also, like, I think as a player, I would just be a little bit overwhelmed. So that's why I think, and this has got me thinking actually, like the seasons in Pokemon Go. We have 4 seasons. The Halloween/fall season, which is usually focused around Halloween. And then now, obviously, we have the wild area event, or some sort of new event that might come every single year. Who knows? Maybe next year we'll get another wild area or like sort of themed event like that. We have the summer season, which is generally focused around Go Fest. Obviously, super hype. And summer season is always fun. There's always a lot of great events in there. We have the Adventure Week, stuff like that. We have the winter season, which is generally focused around the tour event at the end of the season. And then the early seasons are focused around the holidays and different holiday-themed events and ice spawns and things like that. And then finally, we have the outlier, the spring season, which is generally kind of, I find, an interlude season. It's like a season where, like, there's usually not much going on. There's no big, huge event going on at the end of the month of the season. And it's kind of just like that weird middle ground where Niantic doesn't really have anything to do. And usually Niantic will try to take that season and give it some sort of theme. I don't know. I think, was it Rediscover? I'm not sure if that was the summertime or was that the springtime. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they ended up doing, is that when the Avatar update, I think, was in the spring. So usually Niantic tries to bring some sort of like new thing to Pokemon Go during the spring season, because it's a great time. It's like a great interlude. People are chill. What can we test? Level 60. Level 60 would be a perfect time. And I think if we ever get a level increase, or if we ever get any big major changes to Pokemon Go, it's always going to be during the spring season, because that's the season when there's the least amount happening. It's like an interlude, relaxing season, and Niantic can really take their time to test things. Players aren't as hyped. You can also test things going into the summer season, so like kind of bring players back through level 60, and then people will continue to play through the summer. So overall, I think if we do ever get level 60, it would come during the spring. Will we see it this coming spring? Who knows? Maybe so. And yeah, anyway, that's like my thoughts. I think it would come. Is it raining on me? It would come during the spring season. But as always, guys, let me know in the comment section below when you think the new season would end up coming. In level 60 would end up coming. But what we're going to do... Oh my God. It's not raining, but the tree is wet and it's winding, so it feels like it's raining. Nonetheless, comment in the comment section below your thoughts.
Oh my goodness, wait.
Oh my God, is this Deadpool? Comment in the comment section below your thoughts on level 60. Do you think it's coming? What do you think would happen? All that stuff. If you have any thoughts, drop them below, because as always, we always read the comments from last week's YAP session in the newest one. So this week, we're going to be reading last week's YAP session comments, but next week, we'll take a look at whatever you have to say about level 60. Nonetheless, Dyslexic Horse says, never heard anyone say it's too much unless they're talking about the price. You got to get on Twitter. This is what I commented, like, sometimes, like, people, like, actually, this is a very interesting point, something I can bring up, is, like, when I talk about things in certain videos, and I'm like, this is what everybody's been saying, I have to always remember that, like, not everybody's on Twitter, not everybody's on YouTube, or as invested in the world as me, so it's kind of, like, new information for people, and, like, it's always interesting to say, like, people, like, I remember the remote raid pass change, like, if you go on Twitter, everyone was complaining about it, but then, like, if I talk to the local community, like, most people are like, was that a thing? That's the thing? I don't really care about that. You know, like, it's interesting to see how different groups know different information or care about different information, or how connected they are to Pokemon Go. Nonetheless, as someone who just joined in August, I'm thrilled to have the Origins and Primals coming back. I have none of them 100%. The Primals are actually back right now. I've been rating them like crazy. Smoke, I'm excited. Started again 30 days ago. Stopped in 2019. It really boosts me. Hopefully, Smoke, you can take advantage of the mighty Pokemon, because catching those level 40 plus is going to be insane. Think of this, some Pokemon YouTubers get annoyed by content that isn't geared towards elite players. It gets redundant. Hearing people cry about content directly isn't OP for their accounts. And 100%, this goes back to the endgame content. I think it's important to have endgame content. And maybe that's the reason why so many people complain when, like, things are, like, too easy or not, like, not geared towards them, or, like, end game, I guess. Because Pokemon Go is such an old game, so it's, like, interesting how Niantic has to kind of, like, treat both, like, the new players and the elite players. Because it's been out for 8 years, so obviously they have whales, people who have been playing for the longest time, and they want to make those people happy while also making new players happy. David with the question, this is my first time back since 2016. My kids now hopped into it, so I'm back into it. Your videos helped me catch up. Thank you. All the way from Texas. Yo, I got to come down to Texas for that barbecue. Keep up with the mental health. Coming for experience. We can get better. Causing our day than lives to get better. 100%. Like, yeah, in terms of, like, my mental health, I've been, like, fine-ish recently. I think, like, something that's always interesting is, like, this is kind of deep, but, like, it's actually insane how, I guess, like, lucky we are as humans to be able to experience emotions. And obviously emotions sometimes suck. Like, my life, I feel like recently has been like an up and down roller coaster of feeling amazing one day and then pretty sad the next, or like some sort of, like, it's raining on me right now. Is this like trying to add to the theme? Like, when I go down, it starts raining. Anyway, my life has been like a roller coaster, but, like, I kind of have to appreciate that, like, that we actually have the opportunity to feel sad and happy emotions. And that's just life. Like, life can't always be happy. So you kind of have to, like, live in the sadness. And it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks, like, to be, like, sad and crying and all that stuff. Like, it's not fun. But, like, there's also just, like, a beauty in it, in which the fact that, like, we are alive and we can feel these emotions that, like, I don't know if a dog can feel sad. Like, maybe they can. Like, we don't really know inside their head. But, like, human emotion and human, like, connection is, like, something that's, like, amazing. So anyway, that's a very beautiful thing. And yeah, sometimes life sucks, but, you know, you just got to keep pushing, because it's going to get better. Oh my God, there's squirrels. Anyway, James, to add to the list of good things to be thankful for, they changed the UI for the balls and berries in the catch screen, but didn't break the quick catch glitch. Massive result, 100%. And that's what I'm going back to. Credit where credit is due. Niantic has been adding a lot of quality of life features. Big ups on them. Thermal Heat. Interesting, since Gmax battles are this difficult, I actually got some friends that played back when the game launched to come back to Pogo. They missed the Primals and Origin forms, so this event is great for them. Oh, amazing to see new players come in for Gmax. It's funny, like, imagine going to your friend and be like, yo, like, so these new bosses dropped and, like, I need your help. You guys want to hop on Pokemon Go? I love that. I love that. I should go to my friends and tell them to rejoin. Aaron, I'm actually going to thank so much for the podcast form of this. Absolutely love it so much. I don't need to keep my phone open or look at the screen with podcasts. 100%, yes. If you don't know, you can actually listen to this on podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, link below. Check it out. I believe it's just enough. I understand as a player who's been playing and has been free to play as well, a lot of people need more of these guys. I think this event is perfect. 100%. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be a fun weekend. I'm excited because I made a couple friends and we're going to meet up for the wild area event. So there's that social aspect of the game. I know not everyone is going to be into that, but it can happen thanks to Niantic. Ooh, nice. Also, as a player who's been severely dissatisfied with the remote raid changes after limits were put in place on it, I shouldn't have been as mad, but honestly, at the time it sucked, and nowadays I just deal with it. I certainly don't remote raid as much anymore, but that means I'm more active in my local community, and I'm lucky and fortunate enough to reach a park within 10 to 15 minutes of driving, but not everyone has that option. Yeah, 100%. I'm glad you're appreciating what you got. At the end of the day, this is exactly what Niantic wanted, and I think when the remote raid changes happened, I think the biggest issue more was trust. Obviously, changing remote raids sucked, and it is a huge accessibility issue, but it was more of a trust thing, in which when the feedback was given, Niantic didn't do anything, and it broke trust with Niantic. So I think that's why mainly people were mad. And now, like, people are kind of maybe just, like, not worth the pain or the sadness or, like, being frustrated anymore. So they're just kind of living with it and figuring out their way of playing, like this person, like Redux. But, like, obviously it still sucks. And it's okay to be mad about the remote raid change, but, like, that's exactly what you have to do. Like, are you going to keep playing because of this, or are you going to stop? And it's your decision to make at the end of the day. Not Your Barbie Girl, thank you so much for the time topics. You're welcome. I'm going to keep adding those. And the final one here we'll look through is No Troon. To Go Wild to me is like an event for retired players coming back to the game to catch up on the meta, if you know what I mean. 100%, exactly. I commented exactly because I fully agree with that. Nonetheless, that's going to be it for this week's YAP session. If you guys enjoyed this one, watch the one right below me. And yeah, we'll catch you guys all next week. Probably going to be later in the week YAP session because, again, 24-hour challenge is happening Monday to Tuesday next week. Hopefully you get some shiny Galarian birds. But nonetheless, so much fun content coming. I'm going to be shooting like 5 videos at the Wild Area event. So a lot of fun stuff to stay excited for. And hopefully you guys enjoy it all. Catch you all next time. Follow for this. Peace.